Here we are standing at the new Polar Bear Center at our Hans Dierenpark. It was completed last year, and we have made every effort to successfully recreate the natural habitat of the polar bear. As you can see, the polar bears are behind a glass wall, which is approximately 7 centimeters thick. So our visitors can literally stand nose to nose with our polar bears. With the construction of these new quarters, we have shown that it really is possible to keep animals in conditions that are as close to nature as possible.
Compared with the care and attention that these polar bears are getting from their boss, the average employee gets a raw deal. Isn't it strange that we're happy to invest a lot of money and effort in creating the right conditions for animals, when an investment decision about improving the quality of our workplace often comes at the bottom of the list? In response to the energy crises of the 70s, we've exchanged our familiar working spaces for sterile workplaces in energy-saving buildings. Work stress and burnouts have gradually become accepted phenomena of our times. But can't anything be done about it? Psychologists concerned with human behavior and the environment believe that the primary cause of health complaints in modern office buildings can be attributed to a complete lack of contact with the natural elements.
Occupational health and safety experts are looking for an explanation of this alarming development of the effects of the Industrial Revolution.
A grim illustration of this is the so-called Gefahrstoffenwand at the DASA in Dortmund. It's covered from top to bottom with the chemical formulas that make up the thousands of hazardous substances which can be found in workplaces all over the Federal Republic of Germany. Fortunately, now and again, there's also good news. At the end of 1989, the American aeronautics organization NASA surprised the world with an outcome of a remarkable study. Perfectly normal indoor plants are able to purify hazardous substances present in polluted air and make it suitable again for use by crews of spaceships. Worldwide publication of that NASA study has meant that an increasing number of people are beginning to realize the importance of having plants in buildings. There are still plentiful examples of office buildings where the wishes of those who use them are not taken into account. Equally fortunately, there are exceptions. Another good example is from the City Library and adjoining cultural center in the town of Herten in Germany, where plants have replaced the role of a conventional air conditioning system. Or in the office of the United Health Services in Dresden, where plants act as regulators of temperature and humidity. In the center of the building, plants grow from the ground floor all the way up to the top story, so that all the employees have a good view of them.
Also a brainchild of the Tübingen architect Dieter Schemp. When planning a new development, it is absolutely essential that a factor in any plans that you might have is the inclusion of green plants, as plants have specific environmental demands. If, for example, we are planning to exploit green solar architecture, we have to use special glass with a favorable K value of, say, 0.8 for the facade. But if we look at the G value or the light transmission, then it is a different story altogether. So we have to be careful to choose plants that are suitable for the types of glass, and that means choosing between Mediterranean or tropical plants. This is critically important, as a plant that receives insufficient light will die.
The head office of engineering consultants, DHV, in Amersfoort. Here, the architect has deliberately created a flowing effect between the greenery around the building and the indoor plants in the workplace.
People feel better when there are plants around. We have studied this in depth within DHV. The study clearly indicates that people feel better and are more productive when there are plants in the workplace.
en ook productiever zijn.
We have found that this applies in particular to people who work with computers. It has been proven that when plants are present, people who work at their computers for more than 4 hours feel better and are more productive.
The Norwegian researcher Tove Fjeld demonstrated that the presence of plants in the workplace resulted in a 30% reduction in headaches.
I was lucky to get a cooperation with the Norwegian oil company Statoil, which offered me to use 60 of their employees. And we started out with investigating how plants could affect health complaints among these office workers. And we found, as a mean, 23% reduction in health complaints. After that investigation, I got in contact with the Norwegian Radium Hospital, which had a department, in fact the X-ray department, where the work situation was rather poor for the employees.
We had a lot of absence from work here because of headaches and sinusitis and sore eyes and trouble with the ear. And we decided to do something with it, and we bought in a lot of plants and the full spectrum light, and to our pleasure we saw that the illness and the absence by the people who are working here went down from 15 till 5% during a period of only 3 months. And the sickness has been on that level since then, and that's now 4 or 5 years ago.
If together we can bring living plants back to the workplace, we shall eventually have fewer health complaints, less absenteeism due to sickness, more pleasure in our work, and higher performance levels.